What's going on, guys? PlotArmorCards in the house, and today I am back with Yu-Gi-Oh! Masterduel. Today we're going to be looking at my Relinquished deck, and then we're going to be looking at some duels with my Relinquished deck. So let me go ahead and show you what I'm running. So first, I like to run one copy of Swift Scarecrow. It's a pretty good hand trap. Another good hand trap is Sphere Karibo for this deck. Also, you can use it as the material for your ritual summon when it's in the graveyard, so it works doubly well in this deck. I also run 3 copies of Golden Eye's Idol. I like to use it to see my opponent's hand, and then I can also look at it. I can also use it in my grave once it's used for a ritual summon or a summon of one of these in order to take my opponent's monster. I only have one Max C, but I would definitely recommend running 2 of these. Probably switch it out for the Ash Blossom, honestly, because with this deck, you want your opponent to summon out their strongest monster so you could snatch them. So Ash Blossom kind of deters that. I'm running 3 copies of Millennium Eyes Illusionist, 1 copy of Sangan, 1 copy of Tour Guide from the Underworld. I would probably switch Sangan and Tour Guide to 2 if I had them. I would need 1 more Tour Guide first. Because it works really well, because you can use this to summon this, and then you can go immediately into Predaplant Verte Anaconda, and then after that, this will allow you to add 1 to your hand, and then you can just pop off more combos from there. I like to run 3 copies of Manju, 2 copies of Illusionist Faceless Magician, 2 copies of Thunder King, 2 copies of Jizukiru, 3 copies of Relinquished, 1 Raigeki, which I'm going to switch out once I get 1 more Interrupted Kaiju Slumber, so I'll probably be running 2 Interrupted Kaiju Slumbers instead of just the Raigeki. I run 1 Instant Fusion. It hasn't been too helpful so far, but it's really helpful in real life, so that's why I put that in there. 2 copies of Preparation of Rites, 3 copies of Pre-Preparation of Rites, 3 copies of Black Illusion Ritual, 3 copies of Relinquished Fusion. I only have 1,000 Eyes Restrict, but I haven't really summoned it too much. So the 1,000 Eyes Restrict, the 2 Millennium Eyes Restrict, I would also recommend getting 3 of these. I have 1 Starving Venom Fusion Dragon. I can't use it yet, but I plan on getting and putting Super Poly in this deck, so that'll work out. I got 1 copy of Relinquished Anima, I got 1 copy of Cross Sheep, and I got 1 Predaplant Verte Anaconda. So guys, without further ado, let's take a look at some of these duels. So, starting off this duel, this is a dope combo. All I need right now is to add a Relinquish to my hand, and I'm set. So I have 2 Kaijus on the field, meaning I can sacrifice this person's monster into getting a Kaiju off, and he's using Sky Strikers. So this archetype usually, as far as I've seen it, usually just summons the 1 Link monster, and then we'll keep linking on top of that monster. And then what do you know? I managed to draw a Relinquish. So I'm going to Kaiju, and then I'm going to special summon my Kaiju, and then I'm going to Relinquished. I'm going to go right into Relinquish, and I'm going to steal my Kaiju back. So I get basically a direct attack of 66, which is a lot because he's almost done for. Now, I'm going to go ahead and call it a turn, but I regret not setting this because it could have deterred a lot of what can happen. Because if he destroys my monsters, like, oh my god, he Raigeki'd it. Had I had Relinquish Fusion to Chain, I could have summoned my boss monster from my extra deck, and then I could have negated his effects and stole his monster. But he's just going to summon this and then go right into his battle phase. And then he is going to use this thing's effect in order to summon Sky Striker Ace Kagiri. And then popping off various effects in the graveyard. And then he's going to go for a direct attack with this thing. And then he calls it a turn. Or he calls it a battle phase. And then he is going to use this thing, which allows him to add that to his hand. And then he is going to keep summoning. He's gonna go into Sky Striker Ace Shizuku, and then he's gonna set a bunch of cards, and then he's gonna. The Sky Strikers have so many combos, guys, but apparently all you need is a Kaiju. So then he calls it a turn, and then I draw my Manju of the 10,000 hands. So then I'm going to use Summon Manju, use this effect to add a ritual spell or a ritual monster. But he uses his Sky Striker card that I believe it negates, and then it lowers my attack to a certain degree. So, but that was a bluff. So now I'm going to use my Relinquish Fusion, and he starts to use Max C. But at this point, it doesn't really matter. So I am going to Relinquish Fusion. I'm going to fuse the Relinquish in my graveyard with the Scrap Iron Scarecrow, the Swift Scarecrow in my graveyard to get out my Millennium Eyes Restrict. And then I can use my Relinquish Fusion right away to banish it to the grave and then attaches it to that, and then I can just attack. And I just put an end to Sky Strikers, guys. Think about that. For the next duel, I draw a Relinquished, a Sphere Karibo, a Sangan, and a Pre-Preparation of Rites. And he's going to go first, so he's using... Oh, wow. So he's just going to hand destruction everything, and then I draw a Max C. So I'm going to max C when he's using his effects. So he's going to link summon into this thing. That allows me to draw a card. And then he's going to use this thing's effect. That allows him to, I don't know what this guy's doing at this point, but that allows me to draw another card. And then he's using this effect in the graveyard. That allows him to, I guess, add that to his hand. And then he's going to summon it, which, again, is going to pop off my max C. And then he's going to go into his XYZ summoning, which lets me pop off another one. I drew a Raigeki, so I'm pretty much, doesn't matter what he summons, right? But at the same time, with Relinquished, you don't want that. You want him to have monsters on the field so you can take it. But he just doesn't care that Maxi is a thing. This man is a lot braver than I can tell you that. So he's just popping off all his combos, and oh my god. So then he's going to use this thing's effect to special summon a banished monster. That allows me to add another monster to my hand. And this is probably the best situation of Max C that I've ever seen in my life. So he's going to summon his Utopic Future. That allows me to add another one to my hand. And then he's going to go into number F0 Utopic Draco Future. That's going to allow me to add another one to my hand. And then he's going to link both of those into Phantom Knight of Rusty Barricade or Barad, something like that. I forget what it's called off the top of my head. Berdish, whatever it is. But he's just, this man has no chill. And he summons another one, so I can add another one. At this point, I can't even see all the cards in my hand. Look, so there's cards going past this area that I just can't tell anymore. And he just doesn't care. So I guess he's trying to deck me out. And now he's going to go into another summon. He's going to go into number 75. And then after number 75, I have all three of my Black Illusion rituals. I can't even tell what the hell else I have. And then he just calls it a turn. But I have a Kaiju in my hand, so I don't care. And then he's using, I'm going to Kaiju his monster, and then I'm immediately going to go into a Relinquished Fusion, and then he has his own Max C. So, let's see. So, I'm going to go into my Relinquished Fusion. I'm going to banish one of my Relinquish and one of my Eyes cards in order to summon my Millennium Eyes Restrict. And then I am going to use my Eyes card in order to jack this, and then I'm going to use my Black Illusion Ritual in order to summon my Relinquished, and then I'm going to use my Relinquished effect to body snatch my own Kaiju. But he also has this card. He's just going to summon it as a monster. And then I'm going to normal summon Djinn, and then I'm going to use my Raigeki, and I set to Relinquished Fusion in case anything happens to my monsters. And then I'm just going to attack directly with all of those, and then I'm going to call it a turn with like 800 cards in my hand, so I have to discard a bunch of stuff. So he's going to use Emergency Teleport to summon his Virtual World card, and then his Danger Jackalope is going to special summon itself, and then that thing has a graveyard effect. Which, see, this is why I would like more than one Max C, because holy crap. But at the same time, I probably would have decked out at this point, if I had to. And he's summoning, just summoning and summoning and summoning. It's pretty insane. I still have Millennium Eyes Illusionist in my hand, so I'm not tripping too hard. He goes straight for Access Code Talker, which, yeah, he played himself. Because then a Millennium Eyes Illusionist, I'm just going to equip it to my monster, and that's it for him. He's going to go ahead and quit. So the next duel, I draw an Ash Blossom. I draw Manju of the 10,000 Hands. I draw Thunder King. I draw my Relinquished Fusion. I draw Pre-Preparation of Rites. He's using this thing, so I'm just going to go ahead and Ash Blossom it. And then he called by the grave my Ash Blossom, which is pretty good because I kind of want his effects to go through because I want him to summon his monsters, right? And then so he basically wastes a call by the grave. And what I like to do in case other people have Ash Blossoms with this combo is I like to summon Manju and bait the Ash Blossom there, and then after that's Ash Blossomed, I'll use my Pre-Preparation of Rites to add 2 instead of adding the 1 I would have just added with Manju. So I think that's a pretty good combo with this as well. And so he's popping off his Machina. Is it Mechana or Machina? Pretty sure it's Machina. But he's popping off all his combos. And he equips his monster to the other monster. And now it's my turn. So now I draw Pre-Preparation of Rites as well. So I should have thought about it. But I guess he doesn't have any cards in his hand. So it doesn't really matter anymore. He's going to use Goes and Match. So can only control one attribute. So he played himself because his own card goes. And then I get to add Black Illusion Ritual and a Relinquished to my hand. So I'm going to take the Manju out in order to summon my Relinquished. And then I'm going to use my Relinquished in order to body snatch his thing. And then I'm going to use my Preparation of Rites. And then I'm going to add my Relinquish from my deck and Black Illusion Ritual from my grave. And then I can attack him directly. pretty sure I couldn't summon the Thunder King because he already had a different attribute of monster on the field. So I think that's how that works. Is I'm not allowed to just sacrifice his monster for a different one in order to special summon my kaiju. At least it had to be the same attribute. So I got Golden Eye's Idol. I'm just gonna use it just to take a look at what's in his hand. Okay, he has an Ash Blossom, so probably the worst card to draw right now because he doesn't really have anything else. So I'm gonna attack him directly. I'm gonna call it a turn. And then he is going to summon his Machina Gear Frame, and then I'm just going to go straight for my Relinquished Fusion. But first, I'm going to chain my Golden Eye's Idol because I got nothing better to do with it, right? Might as well just look at his hand and make sure, yep, it's the same Ash Blossom as before. Then I'm going to Relinquish Fusion, Golden Eye's Idol, and Relinquish in my hand in order to summon my Millennium Eyes, this thing, Millennium Eyes Restrict. And so he's going to pop off his combos, but my Golden Eye's Idol also has an effect which allows me to take his monster. So that at least mitigated some of the damage. But he's going to go ahead and attack my thing. So his card is destroyed, but because of my Relinquished effect, it's not destroyed. Its monster that was attached to it is gone. And so he's using an effect in the grave. And he's going to summon his Machina Citadel. And then he's going to also try to use his Machina Fortress's effect. But then he can attack again. So my Relinquish gets destroyed. I think he should have destroyed him with the Millennium Eyes card. That one's a little bit more scary, in my opinion. So I'm going to use Relinquish Fusion. I'm going to banish it, and I'm just going to body snatch his monster. And then he gets to chain his card's effect, and then I will chain my card's effect. Anytime he uses his effect, I can just body snatch it. And then I also have a Millennium Eyes Illusionist in my hand, so it's not much you can do now. So now I can just attack him directly, and it's pretty much it for this guy. Next, I got a Sphere Kribo, another Max C, so I'm hoping I can pop off the same combo, but he's using Drytrons, so... And then I got Manju of the 10,000 Hands, and then, yeah, so I'm going to go ahead and use Max C with his combos, but he has Ash Blossom. So I also have Jizukiru, and I also have Black Illusion Ritual, so I'm not too worried about if he summons his boss monster, because I could just kaiju it, and then I should be able to get something off with that. Even though I don't have a Relinquished in my hand, actually, so I might have to wait. Then he's going to go into his... Metonius Drytron, and then he summons Cyber Angel Natasha, which I'm sure people use this. I'm not too familiar with the Drytron archetype, so I'm sure people use this. I just haven't seen it that often. And so I'm going to summon my Manju of the 10,000 Hands, and then I'm going to use Relinquish. It's a good thing he wasted his Ash Blossom last turn. So then I'm going to Jizukiru him, and then I'm going to use my Black Illusion Ritual, sending my Karibo to the graveyard to summon Relinquished, and then I'm going to body snatch my own monster, technically. And I'm going to attack directly with both my monsters, and I'm also going to set Relinquish Fusion in case he has, like, monster effects or something that I need to negate, so I can chain Relinquish Fusion with it. So now he's going to use his Diviner of the Herald, and I should have thought about this before because that's not how the chain works. I should have used this before he summoned his card. The way the chain works is his effect is still going to go off, I think. So my Millennium Eyes Restrict, the combo I was trying to pull off, or the combo I had envisioned, isn't going to work the same way. And now he's going to use this effect in the graveyard, and I was like, screw it, might as well just take it. So I'm going to negate his effect in the graveyard, and then I'm going to equip it to me. And technically, it still has 100 more attack points than that thing, so I'm good to go. And then I draw a Pre-Preparation of Rites, which is ungodly at this point, and then I'm going to use my card from my graveyard so I can just steal his Diviner of Herald, and now I have a Black Illusion Ritual and a Relinquished in case I need them, so I can declare a direct attack with both my monsters now, and then I'm going to call it a turn. So now he's going to use his own Preparation of Rites, and he's going to add his, I think that's Ben 10, he's going to add his Ben 10, and then he's going to add Metonius Drytron to his hand. And then he's using graveyard effects in order to special summon his monster. And then Metonius Drytron, he shows me in his hand, so I'm assuming he just added it to his hand. He's going to try to use his Ben 10's effect. I was like, nope, that's not happening. And I just decided to body snatch his Ben 10. And so now my monster's at 29, but I hadn't factored in that he already has a ritual spell and stuff. So kind of played myself there. But what he's summoning is, I don't know why he keeps going for Cyber Angel Natasha. He should be summoning the more stronger stuff, right? But I guess he couldn't do anything, so he just calls it a duel. Alright, guys. we got the last duel of the day. So Max C, Millenniumized Illusionist, Sangan, Preparation of Rites, and Relinquished Fusion. So all I need is a Relinquished in my hand, and I'm kind of good to go. He's popping off his combos, and I'm just going to use Max C because he's using Spirit Charmers, and I think they special summon themselves pretty decently, a decent amount of time. So I'm hoping I can draw a bunch of stuff, but sometimes people will see that and they just won't do anything. So that's just how the cards worked. I wasn't able to use it for anything special, but I can, however, use Sangan, and then he's going to use Unpossessed, which doesn't really matter. And then I'm going to use this to add a Relinquish to my hand, and then I'm going to use my Relinquish Fusion. But he plays Summon Limit, which, as you'll see, I think probably screws him over more than me. And so I'm going to banish the Relinquished in my hand and the Maxi in my graveyard to summon my Millenniumize Restrict, and then I'm going to use my Millenniumize Illusionist to just jack his monster, and then I'm going to declare a direct attack with both. I wanted to save the spell card because I know there's certain monsters will be like unaffected by monster effects or whatnot, and I just wanted to make sure I had a spell card to just in case. I haven't seen that too often, but just in case. I doubt I'd see that in a Spirit Charmer deck anyway. So he's going to set one, and then he's going to play one immediately. All monsters you control gain 300 attack for each different attribute. So I'm going to use my second Millenniumized Illusionist. I'm just going to snatch his monster again. There's not really much he can do about it. So now my boss monster's at 37, and then I should have seen this coming. He's going to use a Harpy's Feather Duster. So now my monster's back at 0, but I draw a Sphere Karibo, so I'm still protected. So I'm just going to declare a direct attack, and then I'm going to call it a turn. So this guy, this is turned into like a normal summon contest with him because he can't do anything else. So he's going to attack me, but I have Sphere Karibo. And now it is my turn. It says monsters in defense mode. I draw another Pre-Preparation of Rites, which is dope. And now I'm going to use my Relinquished Fusion to jack his monster, and then I'm going to use Pre-Preparation of Rites to add Black Illusion Ritual and to add Relinquish to my hand. And then I'm going to declare direct attacks again. And now it is his turn. So the thing with this deck is the stronger your opponent's monster, the stronger your own cards are going to be. So you kind of want them to summon something really, really strong so you can just jack it. If they're summoning stuff like this with 1850, it takes a lot longer sometimes in order to get the W. So that's why I have Kaijus in this deck, because with the Kaijus I can just sacrifice his monster, summon a strong one, and then jack it right away, which is pretty good. So he's using his effect that lets him to summon another one. I didn't realize it had 1500 defense, so I kind of played myself there. And then I have no choice but to call it a turn. So he is going to switch it to attack mode and decides not to declare an attack for some reason. He could have destroyed any one of my monsters, but I would have just used my Relinquish next turn and Body Snatch it anyway. He's going to use Possess Partnership. That allows him to special summon a Spellcaster monster with 1500 defense. And then I think he gets to destroy one. So, but I already was using my Relinquished, so I'm able to get away with this combo here. So I summon Relinquished, and then my Millenniumized Illusionist effect is going to activate. I can add it back to my hand. And then he's going to chain his effect, which I don't think affects me too much. Now I'm going to use my Relinquish to Body Snatch one of his monsters. Then I'm going to link off into Relinquish Anima, because he left this thing right in front of where Relinquish Anima can operate, and then so I can steal his monster and declare a direct attack. And ladies and gentlemen, that is it. Check it out, guys. So the Relinquish deck is actually really, really good, but I think if you're fighting against cards that they're not using stronger monsters, then it's kind of iffy, but that's why I also included the Kaijus in there. So there's some things I need to work on with this deck. I think definitely more Maxis. Any type of draw power in this deck would be really, really great. Because this deck does have options, but I think sometimes I'll end up drawing like all 3 of my ritual monsters or 3 ritual spells, or sometimes I'll have all the searchers, but that's not that often. So anyways, guys, this was PlotArmorCards. If you like what you saw, please like, comment, and subscribe. And oh my goodness, look at the time.
It's time to do